Right, so I started making a live stream because reading this article from Prince Philip. Prince William, sorry. Prince William calls for world to harness spirit of invention to save Earth. Huh? Right, okay. So you get these rich people in high places calling for people like me, actually, because I'm an inventor. That's what I do, working all these devices, generators and everything else. Now, what do I get for it? Nothing. I mean, yeah. When you get this form, you get the census. You get the census, which asks you all these questions about what your interests are, basically a kind of invasive questions. How many do you talk to your neighbours? Things like that. They should be asking questions like that on the census, like, are you an inventor? Do you need help? But they don't ask those questions. Those are the right questions to be asking people. Students, young people, young people who are just starting out in the world need inspiration to invent, to be creators. You'll probably need to pause it to read it. I think we're living in a very sad world right now, because you'll have to pause it to read it, because I can't hold it there all day. We live in a very sad dystopian type world, really, because it is becoming dystopian. Because people are being stripped of the ability to function and be creative. So that's the article on the Evening Standard, and there's quite a few articles like that on the internet right now. But you see, I always say, put your money where your mouth is. If you want people to invent, you need to give them the resources, the ability, instead of struggling from week to week. I mean, with me, I'm dedicated for the last 3 years now, and I don't give up. And I'm printing some segments for my new device at the moment, which is that one. My new anti-drag or reduced drag alternator. It's just in case anyone stumbles across my video, I don't know. But so and my solid state one, which you can ignore that bit of paper, that's just statistics for the other one. Yeah, so the majority of people who are like me are living in, basically existing on a pittance of trivial amount of money, and I wouldn't say a lot of us are in our basements, because a lot of us don't have basements anymore, because we don't even have our own homes anymore. We're literally living in rented accommodation and basically scraping pennies together. And I had to wait almost 2 weeks just to get some filament for the printer, because I had no money for it. So, and Prince William is saying he's calling on for the world to harness spirit of invention. Okay, who's that? Who is he asking? Who is he actually asking? Is it the corporations? Because you don't get inventors in corporations. It's the ordinary man in the street. People who are poor, usually, because it's the ones who are deprived. I mean, do some research on this. You actually find out it's the ones who have not. I'm not talking about the haves. It's the ones that don't have. It's the have-nots. Those are the people who are struggling and try to find a solution to a problem. It's an energy problem, or it's a device that they can't buy anywhere, or they're looking to solve a problem that nobody else wants to solve. This is what most of us are doing. And we spend all... Oh yeah, I washed my hair, by the way. I'm all fuzzy today. Yeah. Oh yeah, my flipping immersion heater wouldn't work this morning, and my water went cold on me. Yeah, no surprises there. It turns out, I don't know if they rewired it or something, but it turns out that the immersion heater only worked when the central heating pump thing was switched on. I don't know, it should work all the time when you switch it on, but I don't know. I'm diverting anyway. I am what's the word, going off on a tangent. So I have to stop touching my nose because I tend to make myself... YouTube grabs all of the inappropriate images. This is what happens. YouTube is very unflattering when it comes to picking photos. I'm just waiting. Oh, I've printed one of the segments, by the way. Those are all my segments printed. The new rotor. I've got another 5 of these to do. Actually, no, hang on. I'm printing one at the moment, so I need another 4 after that one's been printed, so for the new assembly. Yeah, I'm going to start winding the new coil. So I got my new spool of wire. And it's the 0.18mm wire to wire my new coils for my canopies. Obviously I went out to wire for the... I think this was the... Oh, I forgot what it was now, this one. I think it was 34 SWG wire, that one. So my other segment's there. So yeah, we're basically working on a pittance. And what's sad about this invention thing is that every inventor that I've read about in history, when you talk about people like damn, my mind's gone blank at the moment, I can't think of any. William Freeze Green. Very, very sad story. If you go and look that up, he invented colour. Well, he invented moving pictures, and he died in poverty. He was completely died in poverty. We are living in the 21st century. We should have evolved by now to a situation where we don't just get people calling for people to harness the spirit of invention. People need help, you know. The people like William Freeze Green, if you go and look him up, it's a very sad story. He dedicated his whole life. He sold everything that he had to keep his inventions going, and then in the end it was stolen from him. He died penniless, and that's a very sad story. And then you got... You don't need me to tell you all these inventors. You can go and look up all the ancient inventors to do with movies and electrical power. They've all had very sad stories where big corporations have basically shut them down and made them penniless. And that is not the way humanity is supposed to evolve. Humanity evolves by investment in gifted people and creators. You can't create a creator, right? You cannot invent or make a creator. A creator is born. Somebody that invents is somebody that's had it in them from the beginning. Because you have to understand something about inventors. It's about, I'm not trying to be, I'm not boasting or anything. I'm not trying to grease my own gears, or whatever you want to call it. But you have to have what's called imagination. You have to be able to create it in your mind. You have to, in order to do that, you have to have an imagination. You have to be able to create it in your mind before you actually create it into the real world, if you know what I mean. And this is what I do. I create it in my mind. I mean, all this stuff, I envisioned it in my mind, and then I modelled it in SketchUp, and then I 3D printed it. And I don't even have a mathematical mind. I can't. Maths is my weakest point. You don't need math. You just need a creative mind or whatever. People have said that, oh, you're very inventive. And I said, yeah, well, I guess I am. I mean, it's just the way I am. I mean, I'm not boasting or anything. It's just, when I was little, and I'll go back to a little thing that happened to me when I was little. I was like, I must have been 6 years old, and I used to build things out of Meccano when most people hadn't even a clue, and most kids my age all they were interested in doing was kicking a ball around, and I used to make things out of Lego, and I think that's what inspired me to be creative, to be honest. It brought that out of me. It showed people what I was able to do, what I was creative wise. And a lot of people these days don't even have a Lego. No, I don't think a lot of people know what Lego is. A lot of the young people, I mean, these days probably don't know what Lego is, and they don't even know what Meccano is. Meccano, I mean, it is an extension to the mind. It is a way of manifesting something that you see in your mind into become a physical thing. So we seem to, if you go in the toy shops, do we see that anymore? Do we actually see Meccano on the shelves anymore? Do we see Lego on the shelves anymore? I don't know. I haven't been a kid for a long time, and I've not actually seen if it's still on the shelf. And my kids, my daughters have grown up, so my daughters never asked for Meccano. They were into dolls, so I kind of didn't pay attention to that. But I would say we probably don't have that anymore. If it is out there, it's probably very expensive. I mean, I saw some stuff on eBay, Meccano stuff, which was very old stuff, and it's by no means cheap or affordable. It's expensive. And so, is there any wonder that we don't have inventors anymore, because we don't inspire our younger generation to invent or create? I mean, they're all stuck with their mobile phones and tablets and computers and laptops and playing games and wasting our lives away. And so yeah, I just wanted to have a little rant about that, because I think it's sad, really. The world is coming to a sad state of lack of invention and lack of creation. And you know, if Prince William really wants the world to harness the spirit of invention, then maybe he'll donate something to me. Chance will be a fine thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Creating his designs from patents and but I mean, I have to tell you what I honestly don't like what Tesla did, because he was working with high voltages, and it's dangerous. I won't work on anything that's high voltage, because it's not exactly what I would call environmentally friendly. When you're working with electronic devices, if you want to
protect the planet, you need to use a non-destructive, non-interfering type of system. And the problem with, I'm not criticising Tesla because he was way beyond his time, but he was working in an era when electronics was very, very basic. So he was really kind of out of the box. That he was working outside the box at his time, but it's the time when we had valve equipment, I suppose, or before even that, maybe. Actually, I think it was before we even had valve equipment. So everything was high voltage at that time. So it was very malevolent, I think is the word, because people would get electrocuted, especially with DC. There was John Logie Bird, quite a few people actually. You could just look them up on Wikipedia, just search inventors, UK inventors or American inventors, whatever you want to look for. But when you go back to the early 1900s or the late 18th century, they were working with what they had at the time, as far as knowledge goes. So a lot of it tended to be high voltage, and it was very efficient in the fact that it wasn't very lossy. But when you start dealing with DC and low voltages, you end up with a situation where you lose a lot of power because of the resistance in the wire. That is why AC was invented. Oh God, I can't remember the guy who invented AC now. Oh, I'm pretty sure you'll find it anyway. But AC was more efficient because the electrons are moving backwards and forwards in the same piece of wire, so you have less loss. When you're pushing electrons in a straight line along in DC, the wire starts to heat up. AC is less lossy, so you end up with more power travelling through the wire. In actual fact, the electrons themselves don't actually leave the wire, which is interesting. Somebody was speculating about this. So electrons are basically moved backwards and forwards through a piece of wire, but yeah, it's all very, very complicated. It's hard, even now we don't fully understand it. A lot of it's to do with quantum mechanics and quantum physics, and a lot of it's not fully understood. But I'm not going to go into all that. I don't understand it all myself. Most scientists don't even understand it all. I mean, magnetism is the greatest mystery of all time. I think that's the reason why I find it. That's why I kind of got a grasp of magnetics, and I wanted to experiment with generators and free energy and yeah, that sort of thing. So this is why I'm working on that, because it's mysterious. And whenever you got something mysterious, there's unknowns, unknown factors and things. There's always that, what's the word? There's always that possibility that you could make something out of it that might actually be useful. But when you understand something completely, and something that's very basic, like a piece of wood, you can only do so much with a piece of wood. You can burn it, and you get energy from it. I'm not sure what else you can do with it to get energy from it apart from that. You could saturate it in some kind of acid or some kind of corrosive element, some sort of chemical to break it down to create heat. But when the wood's gone, it's gone. Magnetism, a magnet is a battery. It's an energy source. It's there as long as you don't overwork it. I've heard these people talking on the internet, oh, magnets, they lose their energy eventually. Not if they're made right. If a magnet is made right, it will never lose its energy, as long as you don't try to reverse polarize it to such an extreme that it actually depolarizes itself, which is what happens if you heat it up. So if you stick a magnet in an oven and you're heating it up, you will actually demagnetize it because it'll lose its stored magnetic field. But my loudspeakers, right? My loudspeakers have got magnets in them. I don't know if you can see this, but let's see. They were made in the 1960s. Think about that.
These, you can't really see them properly because it's behind this grill. But these great big massive woofers, sorry about the dust. These great big massive 12-inch woofer speaker has a ginormous magnet in the back. Oh, I wonder if I can get my phone around the back of there so you can see it. Let me try this without losing my phone. You might be able to see it. I don't know. Where's the camera lens? It's over there. Right, so if I stick my phone in the bottom of my speaker and shine this light in there, you might get to see the actual magnets, and they're massive. Let's see if I can get it in there. Just a minute, I am trying to move stuff out of the way because I've got... Now, what I was going to say, what I tried to say, I'm trying to get this stuff out of the way, just a minute, is that the speaker magnet has been in that loudspeaker since the 1960s, possibly earlier than that. Think about that. How many years has that magnet been producing sound? I'm trying to get this stuff over here that's blocking my... This is the vent for the woofer, by the way, that I'm pulling stuff out. I've gone and put stuff in there and I can't get it out. Right, I've got my... Oops, that's a tweeter. Come off, get off. It's stuck to my thingy. Stick that over there. So you won't be able to see what I'm doing very well, but... So there's my staples, I'm just trying to get them out of the way. Right. Something else down here, what's this? Oh, that's a microphone. I don't know how it got in there, but... Right, so where's my torch? Oh. Damn it, I put my torch down. Oh, there it is. Right, I'm interested, because I could take the woofer out and show you, but I'm trying to do it easy way. Right, now my phone might flip over when I put this in there, so you have to bear with me. I'm trying not to push any buttons. Right, so if I put my phone in there, you might be able to see the magnet. I don't know if you can or not, but you're looking inside my speaker right now. Okay. I'm trying to get the light in there so you can see it. There's a massive magnet on that speaker. I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to play it back later, but I'll move the light around on the white stuff. That might make it better. Maybe you can see it. There's a ginormous magnet on there. Now that magnet has been working since the 1960s. I'm going to get my phone out now if I can. It'd be funny if I couldn't get it out. Okay. Right. So, magnets will last forever and ever if they are not oversaturated. That is when the gauze, they call it magnetic gauze or flux. If the magnetic gauze or flux is not reverse polarized beyond what's called the tipping point, as long as you don't exceed that tipping point and you do not bash a magnet with a hammer, which that also destroys magnets as well, in theory they should last forever. So I heard this stuff on the internet. I thought, what a load of crap, you know, sorry, excuse my language, but somebody said magnets lose their energy eventually. They don't if you don't oversaturate them. So having said all that, what I'm saying is, if a generator is made properly, alternator is made properly, and it works to a point where it can provide free energy, then in theory, obviously not including the wear and tear of the bearings, and if you use magnetic bearings, even better. If it's possible to use to create an energy device which uses a magnetic bearing structure, then in theory it would last forever. But obviously we don't have that in most applications because of the weight of the rotor. If it's too heavy, then it's not practical. But if you have a big enough magnet, yeah, you can make a rotor so that it floats on magnetic bearings. But yeah, there's all the other issues of tolerances, drift and movement, and things which can move around. And sorry, I'm not even showing you my picture right now. I've been watching YouTube. Anyway, so I just thought I'd finish this live stream off with that, because yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be winding coils later today, so I might live stream some of that. I've got my coil over there, my wire. I plan on winding the new canopy at the bottom here with wire. So this canopy is ready for wire to be wound, and this canopy needs to be redone actually with the new wire, because this is the wrong gauge that's on here. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. Right, so anyway, I'm going to watch this and play it back and see if I could see my speaker magnet. Right, bye for now.